Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and I think you have seen the problem. Sometimes it's really hard to take a good looking image of your wristwatch. And at the same time, it's important. I mean, if you want to sell your watch, then it's important, because the difference between a watch with shitty photos and a watch with very good looking photos is, let's say, 20%. So we're talking about serious money here. Second reason, if you want to show your timepieces on, let's say, Instagram or in general on social media platforms, then it's very handy to make good looking images of your watch. And the third reason I can imagine is to document the condition of a very expensive timepieces, let's say for the insurance. Okay, so it's important to make good looking images of your watch. And in this video, I'd like to guide you through the entire process. We're talking about equipment, setup, settings, and post-production. And you find every bit of equipment I use in the description of this video, okay? You have their affiliate links directly to Amazon, one section for Europe, one section for America. Okay, let's start with the material. First question, can you take a good looking image of your wristwatch with a shitty 5-year-old Samsung smartphone? The answer is no, you cannot. Looks really crappy. How about an iPhone 6? Could work. Could work. There's a good camera in it. By the way, my girlfriend has given me that at Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm really grateful and appreciate that gift, but I am the man here. I'm supposed to make gifts on Valentine's Day. By the way, Germany, 20 years ago, nobody knew about the existence of Valentine's Day, something like Valentine's Day. But after constant shelling of the florist industry, now the population thinks that's a very important day for Germany as well, and we have to buy now flowers and flowers and flowers, tons of flowers, and of course we do that. Or iPhones. Okay, but sometimes this is not enough. If you want to take really good images, then you need, of course, a camera, and I mean, most households have a good camera, and even the entry-level Canon, which you can purchase for, let's say, 500 euros or 550 US dollars, will do the job outstandingly well. Especially if you compare the performance of a modern Canon with the performance of a 10-year-old Canon. There's a world between them. And the next thing you need, and this is crucial, this is really important, this is a softbox. And the name is the purpose. The softbox will soften the light. Because it makes no sense if you place your wristwatch in front of a light. Like that. See that? You only will have some flash there, but no watch, and this makes people suspicious. So no sense. You need a softbox, all right? And the good news here is as well, they are super cheap. You can buy them on Amazon. Link in the description. Will cost you, what is it? What was it? 20 US dollars or 20 euros? It's damn cheap. And you need, together with a softbox, you need a bright light. And some people have bright lights in their homes, but I prefer, and I think most watch people prefer, those specialized camera lights. I don't know the exact technical term for that, but good news again, cheap on Amazon. Sometimes you can buy them as a package together with a light box, and then it's super easy. And this is your equipment. Little addition then, you need something like that. This little display for a watch. I think I've bought this on eBay. I think 10 or 20, and you, of course, you need one. And so my suggestion is visit your local jeweler and ask polite if he can give you such a thing for free or for $2 or $5. They're damn cheap, those things. And the last bit of equipment is a tripod, if you use a camera, of course. Then a tripod is very handy because it keeps the camera perfectly stabilized, and then you have a 100% sharp image. Okay, this is the equipment. iPhone or camera, tripod, little display, light box, light bulb. Okay, this is everything you need. Okay, everything is in order now. You have your equipment. Now it's time to shoot the watch. And yeah, let's start with the basics. You take your softbox, you put it on, let's say, on a table or on the floor. Very simple. Together with the softbox comes a piece of cloth, white or black or green or yellow or red. You only need white and sometimes black. And maybe you want to iron the cloth a little bit. Be careful, gentlemen. It's polyester, so you need low temperatures. Alternatively, you can use a piece of paper, white paper. Very simple, does the job as well. And then You place the cloth in your softbox and you place the watch on the display. But first, please clean the watch, clean your watch. We're taking high resolution images here with lots of detail, and so you will see every bit of dust and you will see every human product between the lugs, and that's just gross in those dimensions. And so please buy yourself a little brush, a teeth brush will do fine, and clean the watch. And then you switch on your new light or the brightest light you have in your household. And please note, even in a softbox, you can have some reflections, and then you have to move the watch a little bit or your camera a little bit. All right. And then you start shooting. Then you start shooting every detail of the watch. You want every side, every angle, every detail. Don't forget the movement if there's an exhibition case. And a special problem is a watch with a black dial. Because there is the metal case, let's say high polished stainless steel, together with a rather matte black dial. And the problem then is the case catches all the light and the dial swallows it. So then you have something like a black hole with with a metal frame. And it is possible to shoot this properly, but then you need a special light, coaxial, with a camera lens, and this is very complicated because then you have another reflections and so on and so on. So my recommendation is just crook the watch a little bit, just alter the angle a little bit, and then you're fine. And little addition: use your automatic on the camera, or use a certain preset. There are great presets in modern cameras for such purposes. You can't do anything by hand. I personally like to take my images and manipulate all the data by hand, but it's not necessary, to be frank. It's it's more than a hobby, and so I would suggest use the automatic, will do fine. Okay, now you have taken your images, now it's time for the post-production, and I wouldn't skip that because it's so easy and the effect is really remarkable, and so I wouldn't skip that. I have to show you this on the computer, and I'm using my Mac and I use the pre-installed tool, but it's not a problem if you have a different tool. They are all the same basically. You have some settings which you can correct, and I will show you how to do that. Okay, here we are with our watch, Baltic, chronograph, manual, wind, and yeah, you see it's a good looking watch, but in this environment you will not sell the watch. This is too much going on here, and so we have to crop the image. Some watch dealers make this now, not a single millimeter room, and then it looks like this. This is ugly, gentlemen. You shouldn't do that. You should give the watch a little bit more room to breathe. And so let's redo it. Let's say it like this. Crop, and now you can see the watch, you can see a little bit of background here, and that's exactly what we want. Much better. Now we can go to the color correction, which in our case is more a light correction, because I've chosen a difficult example. You have this difference here. This high polished bezel seems to be black, but it is not black, of course. The lugs are pretty well, good exposed, but this is a problem which we want to solve now with the color correction. Okay, let's do it. First, give the watch more light, more exposure. This is important, but you don't want to exaggerate here because you can see. Look at the lug, please. It's vanishing. This is not good. So I would say this is enough. Next, contrast. Some people think contrast is always good, but it's not. See, the problem now is even worse. The difference between bezel and lugs even worse. And so we have to lower the contrast a little bit, like that. See, it's getting better, but on the other hand, I create this mist, which we don't want. And so always be careful, only a little bit. Okay, highlights. Highlights can remove some sort of flashier lights here, like that. See this? But again, don't exaggerate because it's connected to the exposure. And so only a little bit. And now shadows. Look at the bezel, please. That's what we want. That's what we want. It brings the bezel into visibility, so to speak. But on the other hand, it's connected with the other settings. And so when I'm exaggerating here, then I destroy everything around the bezel, and then you can see the bezel pretty good, but not longer the dial. See this? So a little bit, only a little bit. Next, saturation. Yeah, forget it, because you don't need it, to be frank. If you have a good camera, then the camera will catch all the colors. Same thing with temperature. I mean, if you want to create a comic book here, then you can use this, but if you want to sell your watch, then it's not good. Same thing with tint. See this? Ridiculous. Sepia, it's a fact you don't need this. Nobody want to buy a watch like that. Sharpness you don't need, because if you have taken the image properly, your image will be sharp. Okay, this is our result. Now we can go a second time through our 4 settings here and can bring it to the maximum. I would say a little bit more exposure. Okay, this would be enough for me personally, because I think the image needs a link to reality. Okay, you cannot deliver an image which is way better than the watch in reality. Otherwise, your buyer will be really disappointed. And so I think this is enough. This is a good documentation for the condition of the dial and the bezel and the overall looking of the watch. And now let's go back. Then we can see the start again. Yeah, there we are. This is the beginning, and you can see the improvement, I think. Okay, that's all I know how to take better images of your wristwatches. If you are a professional photographer and you have some additions or corrections, then please let us know in the comments, then we can learn from you. And if you like, visit me on Instagram, please. I show there my wristwatches, my images, but I'd like to see your images as well there. And yeah, would be nice to be in contact on Instagram. My nick is Caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and maybe until next time.